Hello, hi, how are you? So I've been seeing the name Keffals come up quite a bit lately, especially on Twitter. In fact, I'm pretty sure that right now, Keffals is trending. And on top of that, people have been asking me to cover the Keffals situation, which I will admit, had no idea what any of this was about besides a couple of tweets which I just didn't understand the context for. So I have done all my research, I've looked everything up, I've read as much as I possibly could on this situation, so now I am here to explain to you what's actually going on if you were as confused as I was. I haven't done one of these controversy explained videos in a while, so I'm gonna do it the way I always do it, try and keep it as concise as possible, not go into every single tiny bit of Twitter beef that's ever happened, just to give you the main points and to let you know mostly what's going on right now and why Keffals is trending right now. Before we get into that though, I would like to ask if you would please subscribe to this channel. I would really appreciate it so much. Thank you if you do. And you can also turn on notifications with the little bell button that is right beside the subscribe button. If you think you're already subscribed, please double check because YouTube likes to unsubscribe people from people's channels. Don't know why, it's just a thing, but do double check. And a quick little reminder that new bloopers have just gone up for both the YouTube members and the patrons, and there's going to be some new stuff coming up this week as well before I go away for a week. So if you would like to check out the stuff there and get the extra benefits of the Patreon and the YouTube memberships, you can sign up for those. There is links in the description for both. Thank you very much. Now let's get on with the topic. So who is Keffals? Keffals is a Twitch streamer predominantly who used to do gaming but now does more political stuff, social politics and things like that. And recently she made headlines because she was swatted. She was doxxed on a website called kiwifarms, which most of my audience will be pretty aware of what kiwifarms is. But for those of you that don't know, kiwifarms is like a forum thread kind of website. There's different sections of the website that have to do with different topics, and then within them there's different threads generally talking about groups of people or specific people. The reason most of my audience will know about kiwifarms is because we've talked before about the dissociated thread on kiwifarms, which was in the beauty parlor section. So Keffals' address was doxxed there, and because of this, somebody made a false report to the police. They said that Keffals had a firearm, that she had killed her own mother, and that she was going to go out shooting people. This was obviously very untrue, and obviously the police had to respond to this, so they showed up at Keffals' home. I mean, they can't really ignore something like that, so they did have to go. Now, obviously, as we all know now, the claim was completely baseless. This just was not true, but despite that, the police still had to follow the protocol to make sure that this wasn't true. They took Keffals into custody and also confiscated her phone, her computer, and some other items. And just so you know, she did later get to go and pick these up and take them back because, again, the claim was baseless and she had not committed a crime. Now, the details of what actually happened during this whole event and afterwards kind of get a little bit confusing. So firstly, Keffals uploaded a video talking about this whole situation, the swatting, and what happened with the police. And she said that she was woken up in the middle of the night with an assault rifle in her face.
On August 5th, I was woken up by London Police Services pointing an assault rifle in my face at my home.
In an interview though, she said that she went into the hallway and that's where she saw the rifle.
When I went into the hallway and then saw that assault rifle, I screamed and I thought I was going to die.
However, the police themselves had said that this went completely differently and that they did not enter the home uninvited, that they didn't just walk in, that they knocked on the door and were let in by Keffals. And clearly this would lead to the assumption that there was no rifle in her face. Now, I want to be very clear here because I feel like people are just gonna misunderstand what I'm saying. I'm just explaining to you the events around what happened and the different versions of the story. I'm not at all saying that all of this was okay. It's obviously very clearly a bad thing to have your address be doxxed and to have false claims made about you to the police. That's bad. Nobody's disputing it. It's bad and it's scary and it's dangerous. But with that being said, I just want to have all the facts out there of what all the different versions of the story are. Now, as well as this, Keffals claimed that the police were dead-naming her and misgendering her throughout the whole process. However, the police in their statement said that this isn't what happened, although her possessions were labelled under her dead name because the official records had not been updated. So what happened there, nobody's really sure. So in the video as well that Keffals posted talking about the situation, what happened and all of that, they posted for one a press kit which detailed everything so that journalists could write articles about it, which did happen. This was a very big news story, although I just completely missed it at the time. And they also posted the link to a GoFundMe in the description as well. So the GoFundMe is for her to raise money to, for one, move, because obviously her address was doxxed and she does not feel safe at home. I wouldn't feel safe either, especially if this happened. And also for a legal fund to, as she says, protect her rights. The original goal of the GoFundMe was exceeded, so there's a new goal now of $100,000, of which 97,910 Canadian dollars have currently been raised. So this GoFundMe has now been the topic of quite a bit of dispute, because some people see the reasons behind it. They agree that Keffals will need money to be able to move because she doesn't feel safe in her own home, and that she should be able to start a legal fund to be able to, I'm not exactly sure what she means by protect her rights, but protect her rights. However, other people don't agree with the premise of the fundraiser at all. They're calling it grifting and things like that, saying that she's just taking money from people and trying to make people feel bad for her so that they will donate and she can just take the money and do whatever she wants with it. But to move on, you might be a bit confused why Keffals had a kiwi farm thread at all. Keffals has been the topic of a little bit of controversy online over the years, I suppose, because of some of the feuds that she's had online and because of some of the things that she's promoted that some people don't agree with. I'm not going to detail every single tiny feud because there's no point. There is some stuff with Lauren Southern. I don't know anything about this person, and I read through like the drama stuff and it doesn't really seem important. It's just them really beefing on Twitter, so it doesn't feel like it's worth going into too much. There's just been general arguments with people on Twitter. There was a thing that I saw about something called SCOTUS blog on Twitter, which I assume is like an American thing, who were posting about Roe v. Wade being overturned. It hadn't been overturned yet, but it was about to be. They were essentially tweeting about how terrible it was, and then Keffals said, I've always wanted to ratio SCOTUS blog, because they do like to ratio people. It's just a thing. I don't know, ratioing is just a big thing on Twitter. I never do it because I can't ratio anybody, because I don't really have that many Twitter followers, so it'd just be kind of pathetic if I tried. But yeah, so people were quite mad about that because they're like, this is actually quite serious, could you not? So that's one of like the types of things that have come up. And there was also some drama with Destiny, another Twitch streamer, who had said some stuff about trans athletes. Keffals disagreed with this and got Destiny taken off Twitch, I think banned, temporarily banned or something like that, was bragging about having his income cut off. And some people were really disagreeing with this, saying, well, you're just cutting off somebody's income, and Destiny has been a supporter of the LGBTQ community for a long time, and it was just this one issue, the trans athlete issue, that he was arguing against. That's just like a quick summary of that, not going into the detail of everything, because for one, it's very hard to find every single little bit of detail, and two, to be honest, I don't think you need the full story. I might be able to go into more detail in the future if people want, but I think just to give you like a quick idea of what's happening here. So obviously there are people who support Destiny who are mad at Keffals and who are mad about the Roe v. Wade thing and other tweets and beefs and things like that. Beyond that though, there's a couple of other reasons that people do not like Keffals. For one, there is a Discord server called Catboy Ranch. Just the stupidest name I've ever heard. I'm sorry. But yeah, Catboy Ranch was a Discord server which has now been wiped, so you can't really find anything new about it. But it was alleged that there were minors in the Discord server. By the way, Keffals was running this Discord server. Now, the claims that have been made are that there was inappropriate things being said to and by minors within the Discord server itself, and that no attempt was ever made to stop minors from coming into the Discord server to protect them from and things like that. It was also alleged that some of the members of the Catboy Ranch server were being given collars. Now, the claim was that Keffals was the one who was giving them these collars, which were branded with the Catboy Ranch thing on it. And some people were also claiming that some of the people who were getting these collars were minors. Now, Keffals responded to this saying that none of the people who had collars or said that they had collars were minors, and also that one of the people who was calling her out for this Discord server was the first one to make themselves a collar. There have been some screenshots leaked of conversations on the Catboy Ranch server and some things that Keffals was tweeting under the Catboy Ranch Twitter that look pretty incriminating, but that has also been mixed in with screenshots from a completely different server. So it gets a little bit confusing and some of the evidence is a little bit flaky. But on the other side, Keffals hasn't provided any evidence to show that nothing sketchy was going on or that she didn't send people collars. But again, there is no evidence to say that she did either. If there were minors in the Discord server in general, it does seem a little bit sketchy that there was no effort made to make sure that they were safeguarded, especially with such a big server. But again, we can't go into the server now and to see what was going on because it's been wiped because of the doxing and all of that. Another one of the issues that people have with Keffals, which may be one of the reasons that she has a Kiwi Farms thread at all, is to do with the DIY HRT directory. This is something that has completely divided opinion. So the DIY HRT directory, to put it like in the simplest terms possible, is a website which gives information on HRT, which is hormone replacement therapy. It's supposed to have information which can help people who are unable to get hormone replacement therapy legally or from their doctors, or minors who aren't allowed to do so by their parents, information about doing it safely, and information about how to access estrogen or testosterone, or what it is or what it does to your body, things like that. And this site is quite openly sponsored by Keffals. The argument is that this is helping people who are unable to access hormone treatment for one reason or another, be it for financial reasons maybe, or because they are minors, they're living with their parents, and their parents don't want them to take hormones. But the argument on the other side is that this is dangerous because it's encouraging minors to get homemade testosterone or estrogen. And somebody who's either a friend or, I'm not sure, a partner of Keffals, I really am not sure what the relationship is there. I think that they're just friends or something like that. Called Chloe, has posted a lot about helping teenagers and minors access homemade estrogen, or what she's calling, I assume she, perhaps they, I don't know, bathtub estrogen, which does sound quite sketchy in a way, because I do understand that people are arguing that you can't access these things and all of that. But if you're getting homemade estrogen or testosterone from somewhere, from the internet or something, or from somebody that you know, or a friend of a friend of a friend, that's not regulated. So you don't really know how safe it is and how effective it is. And if it's, you know, if essentially how safe it is, you know, you don't really know what's in it because it's not regulated. So it just sounds quite dangerous. I wouldn't encourage anybody to do that. But because of all of this, people are saying that Keffals is endangering minors by encouraging them to seek out these treatments, to lie to their parents, to get these unsafe treatments that aren't regulated. But the people on Keffals' side are saying that she's simply just trying to help teenagers who aren't able to transition because of their parents or because of some other reason. So that's all that. That's the main issues, the main controversies and all of that. The main problems that people have with Keffals. There are, like I said, a lot of smaller things, but these are just like the main points. So where do we stand at the moment? So Keffals is now in hiding essentially because she left her home after she got doxxed, went to a hotel room, posted a picture of her cats on the bed of the hotel room, and because of the sheets on the bed, people on Kiwi Farms are able to find out which hotel she was staying at and started sending her fast food and pizza and stuff just to let her know that they know where she is. So she left the hotel and is now in hiding and trying to make sure that people don't know her location. And beyond that, she's currently campaigning on Twitter to try and get Kiwi Farms dropped as a client by Cloudflare. Essentially, she just wants the website taken down, and this is one of the easiest ways to make sure that Kiwi Farms dies. A lot of people are in support of this, saying that it's a good thing because Kiwi Farms is evil and awful and doxes people and harasses people and damages their mental health, while there are other people that are saying it's not a good thing because you can't just take down an entire website, free speech, and people on Kiwi Farms are gonna find a way to get on the new Kiwi Farms. Before I end this, I do want to just make a point that I've seen a lot of people saying that the swatting incident is attempted murder, and I actually had like an exchange with somebody on Twitter who was saying this, and although I do see that being swatted and being doxxed and everything is really dangerous and scary and completely wrong, it's not attempted murder. I don't know how to explain what I mean besides just outright saying it. Like, swatting is not attempted murder. The argument that somebody made with me on Twitter was that people die in swattings all the time, they have heart attacks or they get killed by the police or something. Now, I don't know the numbers for that or how frequently that actually happens. I don't doubt that there have been people that have died this way, but at the same time, it doesn't constitute attempted murder. I mean, if the argument that I made on Twitter is that if you get into a taxi and the taxi driver is speeding, even though people die in cars all the time, the taxi driver is not an attempted murderer. But that doesn't take away from the fact that this is a really dangerous and scary and wrong situation. The situation on itself is bad enough, it doesn't need to use different words to exaggerate it. Beyond that though, do let me know what you think about this whole situation. Have you heard about it before? Have you not? And if you don't want to comment about that, then let me know in the comments. Do you ever know that you've spat out your gum, but then you still feel like you've swallowed it and you're going to die? Does anybody else do that, or am I completely insane? Because that's what I did just before recording this. Anyway, yeah, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Again, let me know your thoughts. You can also like the video and share it with somebody who you think might find it interesting. Doing that stuff really does help me out. And of course, subscribe, turn on notifications. If you would like to support the channel, like I already said, you can check out the Patreon or the YouTube memberships. And if you would like to keep up with me personally, you can find me on social media everywhere at VangelinaSkov, and I also have a vlogging channel, which is also linked in the description. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!